Croatia. Land of medieval walls, land of turquoise waters, land of ancient seafarers and maritime traditions. Picture yourself flying over the Croatian coastline. A ribbon of land that snakes along the Adriatic, dotted by no fewer than 1,244 islands. And if this enormous quantity of islands might seem excessive for such a small nation, know that only 48 of these are permanently inhabited. The remaining islands are an unspoiled paradise waiting only to be explored. It's no surprise that Croatia welcomes over 21 million tourists annually, which is more than 5 times its population. As one admires this nation from above, it becomes apparent that there's more than just the sea. The country is divided into 5 historical regions, each with its unique personality. Central Croatia, Slavonia, Istria, Dalmatia, in the vibrant city of Zagreb. Each region is a world unto itself with traditions, flavors, and dialects that will make you feel as if you are traveling through several countries. Speaking of diversity, did you know that Croatia produces over 1,000 varieties of wine? From the hills of Istria to the vineyards of Dalmatia, each region offers unique and traditional flavors. But Croatia is not just a destination for gourmets and sun lovers. With 8 national parks and 11 nature parks, about 10% of the Croatian territory is under environmental protection. And it is no coincidence that the country boasts as many as 10 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, an impressive number for a nation of this size. Speaking of sounds, in Croatia you might hear different ones as you move from one region to another. The Croatian language, in fact, has 3 main dialects: Stukavian, Kajkavian, and Kakavian. And these are not just different ways of pronouncing words, but real windows into the rich culture of this country. Continuing as you explore the coastal cities, you might notice something familiar around the necks of the local gentlemen. And we are indeed talking about the necktie. This elegant accessory has its roots right here. The word necktie, in fact, derives from Croatian and is inspired by the scarves that Croatian soldiers wore around their necks in the 17th century. Who would have thought that a simple piece of fabric would become a symbol of elegance around the world? But the surprises do not end here. If you are wondering why there are so many Dalmatian dogs roaming around Croatia, well, guess what? This famous breed originates from the coastal region of Dalmatia, from which it also takes its name. Finally, with a literacy rate of 99.3%, one of the highest in the world, and a population that is 91% Croatian, this country has an extremely high ethnic homogeneity and cultural richness. It is extraordinary how such a small country can offer so much. Whether you are passionate about history, a nature lover, a gourmet, or simply in search of relaxation on beautiful beaches, Croatia has something to offer everyone. But now let's continue our adventure by visiting the most beautiful and iconic places of this nation. Plitvice Lakes National Park. In the heart of Croatia, nature has painted a living masterpiece. "16 lakes, like steps of a celestial staircase, pour into one another through a series of frothy waterfalls. This spectacle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, enchants anyone with its primordial beauty. The clear waters vary from turquoise to deep blue, flowing through limestone gorges carved over millennia. Numerous trails wind through lush forests, revealing dreamlike views of this aquatic Eden. The park's biodiversity is extraordinary, with forests hosting a rich variety of flora and fauna, from majestic brown bears to golden eagles. The process of lake formation, a geological phenomenon in constant evolution, continuously shapes the landscape, and each season transforms the park. Spring brings a burst of life, summer endless days of exploration, autumn a symphony of colors, while winter wraps everything in a silent enchantment of ice and snow. Hvar. Pearl of Dalmatia, Hvar enchants with its sunny beauty and vibrant energy. The island, blessed with over 2,800 hours of sunshine a year, is a paradise of crystal-clear beaches, lavender fields, and centuries-old vineyards. The beating heart is St. Stephen's Square, which opens like a white stone stage, dominated by the imposing Renaissance cathedral. Cobbled alleys climb up the hill, revealing characteristic views and panoramic terraces. The Spanish fortress offers spectacular views of the Plitvice archipelago. At sunset, the island transforms. Waterfront cafes come alive. The air fills with music, and nightlife begins, making Hvar a beloved destination for travelers of all ages. Dubrovnik. Dubbed the Pearl of the Adriatic, it stands on the Dalmatian Coast, its formidable walls encircling a historic center of rare beauty. Gleaming marble streets reflect centuries of history, while Renaissance palaces and Baroque churches narrate the glorious past of this city-state. At the heart of the city, Stradun, the main street, pulses with life, from which narrow alleys branch off like a labyrinth. The ancient walls offer a magnificent view of the sea, while from above, the terracotta roofs form a mosaic that blends with the blue of the Adriatic. The Cathedral of the Assumption and the Rector's Palace bear witness to the city's cultural wealth, while Onofre's fountains have refreshed visitors for centuries. At twilight, moreover, when the golden light of the sun caresses the ancient stone houses, Dubrovnik transforms. The atmosphere becomes charged with magic, revealing why this city has captured the imagination of artists and travelers over time. Kornati Islands. A dream archipelago, the Kornati Islands emerge from the crystalline waters of the Adriatic like silent sentinels of the sea. This labyrinth of 140 mostly uninhabited islands and islets offers one of the most spectacular seascapes in the Mediterranean. Steep cliffs alternate with hidden bays, while the deep blue of the ocean fades into the turquoise of shallow waters. The vegetation, shaped by wind and sun, creates a unique moonscape, where wild lavender and rosemary scent the briny air, while the national park protects this fragile ecosystem, home to a rich marine life. For sailors, the Kornati are a paradise of sailing, with calm channels and secluded anchorages. The Kornati are not just a place, but an experience of total communion with nature in its purest and wildest form. Zadar. A city of fascinating contrasts, Zadar harmoniously blends ancient and modern on the Dalmatian coast. Its historic center, a compact peninsula, encloses millennia of history within Venetian walls. White marble streets lead to Roman squares, Romanesque churches, and Byzantine remnants, creating an open-air museum. The symbol of the city, the 9th century Church of St. Donatus, stands majestic next to the Roman Forum, but it is at sunset that Zadar reveals its contemporary soul. The sea organ, a unique architectural artwork, plays hypnotic melodies driven by the waves of the sea, while nearby, the greeting to the sun, a circle of solar panels, lights up in a kaleidoscope of colors. These two modern monuments embody the innovative spirit of Zadar, a city that looks to the future without forgetting its rich past. Krka National Park. A paradise of water and greenery in the heart of Dalmatia. Krka National Park is an oasis of natural beauty where the Krka River, the undisputed protagonist, carves through limestone gorges, creating a series of waterfalls and natural pools that take your breath away. The most famous, Skredinsky Buk, is a natural amphitheater of 17 travertine steps, where water dances in a spectacle of foam and rainbows. Restored ancient watermills dot the banks, witnesses to a past in harmony with nature, while well-maintained trails weave through lush vegetation, home to a rich biodiversity, including rare bird species. Moreover, Vis Island, with its 15th century Franciscan monastery, emerges like a mystical vision from the lake. Krka is not just a feast for the eyes, but a full immersion in the sounds, scents, and sensations of pristine nature. Rovinj. On the western coast of Istria, Rovinj rises like a living painting. The rocky peninsula, once an island, hosts a labyrinth of cobbled streets that climb towards the sky. Pastel-colored stone houses huddle together, creating a unique architectural harmony. At the top of the hill, St. Euphemia's Church dominates the skyline, and its bell tower, inspired by St. Mark's in Venice, watches over the town and the sea. The harbor, with its colorful fishing boats, also tells the story of a community deeply connected to the sea. Indeed, Venetian influence can be felt everywhere, from Gothic bifforas to winged lions carved on buildings. Split. A crossroads of history and modernity, Split pulses with life around the imposing Diocletian's palace. This colossal Roman complex, a UNESCO heritage site, is not just a monument, but the beating heart of the city. Twisting alleys meander between ancient walls, where artisan shops and fashionable restaurants coexist in harmonious fusion. The peristyle, once an imperial courtyard, now a stage for daily life and cultural events, captures the essence of Split, a place where past and present live together. The Cathedral of St. Domnius, originally the Emperor's Mausoleum, towers with its bell tower, offering magical views over the city and the Adriatic. Along the Riva, the elegant promenade where life flows peacefully among palm trees and Austro-Hungarian facades, the scent of lavender and the sound of the waves create an intoxicating atmosphere. Korčula and Novalja. Two islands, two souls of Adriatic Croatia. Korčula, the little Dubrovnik, emerges from cobalt blue waters with its medieval walls and streets arranged in a fishbone pattern. The old town is a labyrinth of white stone, where Gothic and Renaissance palaces tell centuries of Venetian history. Here, legend has it that Marco Polo was born, and the island celebrates this connection with a small museum in his supposed birthplace. The hinterland hills, rich with vineyards and olive groves, produce some of Dalmatia's finest wines. In stark contrast is Novalja on the island of Pag, embodying the young and vibrant spirit of the Croatian coast. Famous for Zurche Beach, the epicenter of summer nightlife, Novalja pulses to the rhythm of electronic music and international festivals. By day, however, its white pebble beaches and crystal clear waters offer perfect post-party relaxation. Pag's lunar-like interior, with its fields of sage and rosemary, produces renowned sheep cheese, while the historic salt pans bear witness to an ancient tradition. Pula. At the southern tip of Istria, Pula stands as an open-air book of history. Its most precious jewel, the Roman arena, dominates the city skyline. This one-century amphitheater, one of the best preserved in the world, is not just a monument, but a living organism that still hosts concerts and events, its imposing structure creating a unique spectacle when illuminated at night. But Pula is not just about the amphitheater. The historic center reveals layers of civilizations. The Arch of the Sergi celebrates a Roman victory. The Temple of Augustus recalls the imperial era, while Venetian palaces narrate centuries of domination by the Serene Republic. Nearby, pebble beaches and the crystal-clear waters of the Adriatic Sea offer a perfect counterpoint to the historical richness, making Pula a destination that skillfully blends culture and nature.
Mljet.
Known as the Green Island for its lush vegetation, Mljet is an unspoiled paradise in the southern Adriatic. Its heart is the national park, where two saltwater lakes connected to the sea by a narrow channel create a unique ecosystem. On the larger lake, an islet hosts an ancient Benedictine monastery whose silhouette is reflected in the calm waters, creating an image of serene beauty. Shaded paths lined with ancient pines and oak trees wind around the lakes and through pristine forests, ideal for hiking and cycling.
Moreover, legends wrap Mljet in a mythical aura.
It is said that here Odysseus was held captive by the nymph Calypso, enchanted by the island's beauty. Trogir. Nestled on a tiny island between the mainland and the island of Siovo, Trogir is a perfectly preserved medieval jewel. Its paved, narrow, and winding streets encapsulate 2,000 years of history in just over a square kilometer. The heart of the city is the central square, where the Cathedral of St. Lawrence stands. The Camerlengo Castle, a Venetian sentinel on the sea, and the Tower of St. Mark complete the profile of this fortress city. The waterfront, finally, with its cafes and restaurants, offers enchanting views of the Adriatic. Trogir is a vibrant city where the echo of the past resonates in the steps of visitors who lose themselves in its alleys. Zlatni Rat. On the southern coast of the island of Brač, Zlatni Rat extends into the Adriatic Sea like a golden tongue of land. Known as the Golden Horn, this beach is a unique natural phenomenon, a tip of ultra-fine white pebbles that changes shape and direction according to the currents and winds. Nearly 600 meters long, the beach is surrounded by crystalline waters that shift from turquoise to deep blue, creating a marvelous chromatic contrast with the white of the land and the green of the pine forest behind. The constant wind makes Zlatni Rat a paradise for windsurfing and kite surfing enthusiasts, while the waters are perfect for swimming and snorkeling. From the top of the hill, the highest in the Adriatic Islands, one enjoys a spectacular view of this natural wonder. Zagreb. Capital of Croatia. Zagreb is a fascinating blend of European elegance and Mediterranean warmth. The city is divided into two distinct souls, the medieval upper town and the 19th century lower town. In the upper town, accessible by the characteristic funicular, cobblestone streets lead to historic squares, such as St. Mark's, dominated by the eponymous church with its multicolored roof. Here, the Loder Skak cannon has been marking noon for centuries. Descending towards the lower town, the atmosphere changes. Wide tree-lined boulevards, verdant squares, and Austro-Hungarian-style palaces create a Central European ambiance. The beating heart is Banja Luka Square, a meeting point and focal point of city life. Open-air cafes, art galleries, and a thriving food scene complete the portrait of a dynamic and welcoming capital that perfectly blends tradition and innovation. Šibenik. Set in a natural bay where the Krka River meets the Adriatic, Šibenik is a city of stone and light. Its most precious jewel, the Cathedral of St. James, a UNESCO heritage site, is a masterpiece of Dalmatian Renaissance. Built entirely of local stone, without the use of mortar, the cathedral is renowned for its frieze with 71 sculpted heads. The Old Town, a labyrinth of alleys and staircases, climbs the hill to medieval fortresses, offering captivating panoramic views of the bay and surrounding islands. The restored St. Michael's Fortress now houses a Mediterranean botanical garden, while St. Nicholas's Fortress, at the entrance to the St. Anthony's Channel, is an extraordinary example of Renaissance defensive architecture. Šibenik is not just about history. Its vibrant cultural scene, with festivals and events, and its strategic position as a gateway to Krka National Park, make it a dynamic and fascinating destination. Makarska Riviera. Positioned between the Adriatic and the imposing Biokovo Massif, it is a strip of paradise along the Dalmatian coast. This region, stretching for about 60 kilometers, is famous for its white pebble beaches, bathed by turquoise waters. The city of Makarska, the heart of the Riviera, blends the charm of an ancient fishing port with the conveniences of a modern beach resort. Its main square, shaded by ancient palms, is the social life center, surrounded by cafes and restaurants serving local specialties. Small towns and villages along the coast like Brela, Baška Voda, and Tusipi each have their own unique character and are definitely worth visiting. Not to be missed is also the Biokovo Nature Park, which rises steeply behind the coast, offering a dramatic landscape contrast and opportunities for hiking with breathtaking views. Vis Island. In the heart of the Adriatic Sea lies an island forgotten by time. The crystal-clear waters of Vis conceal marine caves of an indescribable blue, while ancient stone villas overlook a sea that has witnessed millennia of history. Centuries-old vineyards cover the terraced hills, where Vugavai is still produced today, a wine that tells the story of Croatian winemaking tradition. Finally, the hidden coves of the island, accessible only by sea, preserve their primordial beauty intact, while small fishing ports keep alive the rhythm of a life marked by the seasons. Motovun. Perched on a hill in Istria, it stands majestically over the Mirna River Valley. Ancient Venetian walls protect a perfectly preserved medieval village, where every cobblestone alley leads to wonderful and authentic views of the valley below. The surrounding territory conceals in its ancient forests one of the most precious treasures of world gastronomy, the Istrian white truffle, which has made this location a reference point for lovers of excellent cuisine. Omiš. Nestled between the majestic gorges of the Cetina River and the crystal-clear waters of the Adriatic, it represents an extraordinary example of how nature and history can merge in perfect harmony. The steep rocky walls surrounding the ancient fortified city were once the impenetrable refuge of Dalmatian pirates, who controlled the Adriatic trade routes from here. The medieval fortresses, perched on the surrounding heights, still testify to the glorious past of this city, while the mighty Cetina River has carved one of the most spectacular canyons in the entire region over millennia. Opatija. Along the Hvar coast stretches the elegant Opatija, the first seaside resort of the Adriatic. Splendid Austro-Hungarian-style palaces line the seafront, bearing witness to the golden age when emperors and artists chose this location as their favorite refuge. The scent of camellias, the city's symbolic flower, mingles with the sea breeze, while the botanical gardens preserve rare species from every corner of the world. The mild climate and therapeutic waters have made this place a wellness tourism destination since the 19th century, when European nobility discovered the healing properties of its unique microclimate.
Lošinj.
In the Hvar archipelago emerges an island where the scent of Mediterranean scrub blends with the salty sea air. The surrounding waters host a resident population of dolphins, while majestic griffin vultures soar in the sky, making this place a natural sanctuary of extraordinary importance. The richness of local flora, with over 1,100 species of aromatic and medicinal plants, has created a microclimate unique in the world, which already attracted the attention of Austro-Hungarian aristocracy in the 1800s. Furthermore, the characteristic ports of Lošinj and Lošinj preserve intact the charm of their Venetian architecture, while the ancient patrician villas tell stories of sea captains and a flourishing shipbuilding industry. Brijuni National Park. An archipelago of 14 islands off the Istrian coast, it is a terrestrial paradise where nature, history, and luxury harmoniously blend. The main island, Veliki Brijuni, tells millennia of history starting from dinosaurs, whose footprints are still visible along the coast. A safari park hosts exotic animals, legacies of diplomatic gifts received by the Yugoslav leader. Moreover, verdant meadows alternate with Mediterranean scrub, while ancient olive trees testify to a mild climate, fostering a vegetation with over 700 plant species. The crystal-clear waters surrounding the islands conceal submerged archaeological treasures, remnants of Roman and Byzantine villas. Concluding this visual journey through Croatia, we have moved from the charm of its landscapes to its most famous cities, discovering together not only places, but also curiosities that make every corner of this country unique. We hope the images and stories shared have enriched your knowledge and ignited the desire to explore personally the varied beauty of this nation.